Hey y'all, welcome back to Millennial at Midnight. I kind of overextended myself a little yesterday and this video is late getting out, but better late than never, right? I hope y'all enjoy anyway. So in this one, I'm going to introduce another one of our snakes, and I wanted to give him a little bit of introduction first before just springing him on y'all, because he is the kind of snake that you would normally only see at zoos. My husband actually raised him from a very young, small hatchlings. We've had him for many years. We buy our enclosures. We've invested thousands of dollars in enclosures, and we buy them from a zoo quality enclosure manufacturing place called Animal Plastics. So I am going to show you guys him. This is Leviathan, and here we were actually we were cleaning out his enclosure. Some people keep big snakes like this on simple newspaper only. We don't like to do that. We like for them to have an actual ground cover of substrate that they can enjoy and crawl on and things like that, and different shelves to get up on for enrichment and the ability to move around and stretch themselves and enjoy. Leviathan is massive, and once the snakes get to this size, their shed doesn't usually come off in one clean piece because they're just that big. And so, whenever they do shed, they tend to have a few pieces of stuck shed here and there. And one of the easiest ways to get that off is to take them out and let them soak in some water, soak in some warm water, and then just let them kind of crawl around and run their hands, run their body through your hands and stuff like that. And you never ever want to like peel a snake stuck shed, that can severely hurt them. But once they've soaked in a water or whatever and it's all nice and soft, then just the action of them crawling around on you can go ahead and get the rest off for them so they don't have any skin infections or anything like that. Leviathan here, this particular snake, we had to take him to a vet a while back, a herpetological vet, because he got an infection in one of his teeth and it swelled up an infected knot, and the vet actually had to cut it out. And we held him while the vet cut it out. He was perfectly fine, no problems whatsoever. He's a good big boy. Our story today is a legend. It's an Ozark legend that no one knows whether or not some of the aspects of it are true. Some can only be true if you firmly believe in the paranormal. And they're pretty far out there. You know how legends over years they get told, they get added to. Somebody will be telling their children the story and just decide innocently to make it a little more colorful because they're just telling an entertaining story. They don't always think of it in the form of passing on oral lore. So, this particular version of this story was documented by a Southwest Missouri State University professor. He wrote about it on his blog in 1998. And we're going to read it. It is a wild ride, y'all. Buckle up. The title gives it away right away that this one's a wild ride. Malectus the Necromancer. Malectus the Witch is one of the most forgotten stories related to the Missouri Ozarks, but perhaps the most incredible if the stories are to be believed. Victoria Munsford, the witch known as Malectus, was born in the Lincoln Township in southwestern Missouri, most likely present day Nixa or Clever, in 1841. The only daughter of Victor and Louise Munsford, Victoria was homeschooled and trained in the art of cooking and sewing. Stories are unclear, but according to an 1849 edition of the Gazette, a local periodical, Victoria went missing on February 23rd, 1849. She was assumed unalived, and today remains the last concrete proof of her existence, a weathered headstone in Mount Carmel Cemetery marking an empty grave placed by the Munsfords as a memorial to their lost daughter. However, Victoria was not gone. She returned home in 1857, 8 years after she had gone missing. No reason was ever given for her disappearance, and Victoria remained silent about her disappearance despite the efforts of family and neighbors to uncover the truth. The Victoria that returned was not, however, the same girl who left. She was prone to fits and rages at times and long periods of silence at others. On more than one instance, she was found outside, unclothed under the moon with self inflicted wounds bleeding on her arms and legs. A physician was called in 1858 to rid Victoria of what her father referred to as the phantasm. The physician could not find anything to treat, but he let her blood by leeching as a precaution. Later that year, Victoria's father, Victor Munsford, was contacted by Confederate General Benjamin McCulloch with an assignment. Munsford was appointed to keep an eye on the movement and activity of the Union Army so that an ambush might be planned against them. Writings between the Union General Nathaniel Lyon and General Franz Sigel in early July 1861 indicate that he was aware of an ambush and had been assured of his victory by a woman with power over death. Lyon writes, "It is with haste that we must part to the Lincoln Township, for there we shall have victory for our Union. I have come across the most peculiar woman with powers to control the earth itself, as witnessed by mine own eyes. Indeed, she knows of a gathering of Confederates, numbering over 10,000, but she will deliver them into our hands. I know not whether she be a witch or an angel, though I suspect the former. Her price for this aid was a locket of my own hair, refusing any gold." Whether Lyon had met Victoria or some other woman is uncertain. However, on August 2nd, 1861, Lyon's 6,000 men prevailed against the combined 12,000 men of McCulloch's army. The Missouri State Guard and the Arkansas State Troopers. Among the casualties was Victoria's father, Victor. As the folktale goes, Victoria became unhinged by the death of her father. Unable to face her loss, it is said that she forced her father from the grave, but this only increased her pain. It is about this time that the name Malectus was first written, and many theorize that she adopted the name herself because Victoria was too reminiscent of Victor. Within 8 days, both armies had been brought back together to fight the Battle of Wilson's Creek, resulting in massive casualties, including the death of General Lyon. It is said that Malectus hunted soldiers in the battle, taking lives of both Union and Confederate soldiers alike and enslaving the corpses to do her bidding. While the story of Malectus has been, almost unnaturally, forgotten by most, many still tell tales of gunshots that can be heard at the Wilson's Creek battle site. Soldiers still shooting, terrified of the witch, even in death. Over the next 20 years, reports of fires, missing children, disturbed graves, hurt pets, and unusual deaths increased fourfold. Many blamed Malectus, the necromancer, or the she witch, for their troubles. Whether Malectus caused problems or not is still widely debated between many of us at the Ozarks Historical Society. One belief is that the stories are true, that Malectus was either a witch or else a crafty criminal who used the rumor of her ability to control the dead to spread fear. The other belief is that Malectus was falsely accused, blamed only because she was different. Those subscribing to this believe that Malectus may have suffered a mild form of schizophrenia. Regardless, Malectus was tried as a witch in October 1881 and found guilty. She was burned at the stake under the quarter moon. Over the next year, the townspeople spread stories of Malectus' last words. Some say she screamed her father's name. Others said she laughed as she burned, promising to be awakened. Others still said she just stood silently as she died. Much has faded to legend, and Malectus lived on as a ghost story in the Lincoln Township until the early 1920s. Indeed, children would skip rope to a rhyme inspired by the legend. Come wake up the sleeping lady, come and read it teetily. Come and wake the sleeping lady, maybe then she'll come for me. While the Ozarks may not be Salem, Massachusetts, may it not be forgotten that we too have our own haunted history. For more information on Malectus the Witch, and then it gives his contact, but like I said, this was written in 1998, so I doubt he's still around or using that email. But yeah, friends, what did y'all think of the story? I haven't been able to actually find any documented evidence of the burning at the stake as the punishment other than his story. However, since he is a historical professor, I assume that he had a reason outside of oral lore for stating that so factually. But I'm going to do a little more digging because it's a fascinating story. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed learning about one of our more exotic snakes and about the Ozark legend of Malectus the Witch. Let me know what you think in the comments, friends, and I hope y'all have a good day.